everyone, welcome to another conversation session here at House of Maharrani. To those of you who are new here, welcome. My name is Raisha. I talk about life and everything in between, but I focus specifically on women well-being. Today's topic, I am late because I was supposed to upload this probably a few weeks ago. However, it's holiday times. I hope you all had an amazing holiday and enjoyed your time with the family and friends. That's exactly what I was doing too. Hence, the video is late. Today, we are going to talk about artificial intelligence. I'm going to give you all quick basics, introduction to the subject matter and the topics associated with it. I recently completed a 6-month artificial intelligence machine learning bootcamp from University of Denver, and I thought this would be a perfect topic to talk about given that AI has started taking over our life. It's all over the news, social media, with all of the new apps that's coming up. I mean, it's at times difficult to keep up, but if you are someone who is interested in this subject matter, there are a lot of resources, information online that you can look up and read in order to add the skill in your life. I am a change consultant, meaning I go into organizations and help them implement changes. So for me, it just made sense to add this subject matter into my portfolio, into my resume, because moving forward, a lot of companies, pretty much I want to say every company out there or businesses out there is going to start implementing AI in their systems, in their processes, and that's going to change the experiences of people working in these organizations. So adding AI as a subject matter, as something that I am, an expert on, is going to help me in my professional life. I will also give you all a brief overview of how my experience was when it comes to the 6-month bootcamp. But before that, let's dig into the topic itself and start talking about AI, and I'll give you all an overview at the end. So AI is teaching machines and computers to learn and do a particular task. That's as simple and as basic as you can go when it comes to the definition of AI. Imagine a super assistant that is able to recognize data, is able to recognize patterns, and provide you with an outcome or a result accordingly. So that's AI in a nutshell. Officially, the term artificial intelligence was coined in 1956, and since then artificial intelligence has come a long way. Currently in your life, if you want to think about artificial intelligence, think of your Netflix subscription. The fact that Netflix is able to provide you with recommendations is based on the data that they have acquired from you in terms of what you watch and what you have liked so far. There are 2 types of artificial intelligence. One is narrow artificial intelligence, also known as weak artificial intelligence. And the second one is called strong artificial intelligence, or also called general AI. Narrow AI is designed to do a specific task. For example, a calculator on your phone is only able to calculate and do mathematics. If you try to type something else in it, it's not going to recognize it. It's not going to spit out any results whatsoever but calculations. So that is the definition of narrow AI, where a machine is given a particular task and is only able to do that particular task. Now let's talk about general AI, also known as strong artificial intelligence. General AI or strong artificial intelligence is pretty much like human intelligence. General artificial intelligence is theoretical at the moment because there is a lot of research that is being done on this particular subject matter. But if you have to distinguish between narrow AI, weak AI, and strong AI, think of it from a perspective of learning capabilities. So As I mentioned, and with the examples of narrow AI, it's very particularly based on a task that is given, whereas general AI has learning capabilities. Imagine a machine that could diagnose a medical condition. With the information of the medical condition, it can also generate a custom treatment plan, simultaneously research new medical treatments, and communicate the findings and details to the doctors and the patients simultaneously. If you think about it, so general AI means that it's not just looking at one task, but it's looking at one task, learning from it, and providing potential solutions to that particular task. Another example of AGI, or artificial general intelligence, can also be, imagine a machine that could learn a language in a few days. Based on its understanding of the language, then it will be able to identify cultural nuances and is able to change its communication style based on the context. For example, languages have it where, how you speak to an elder versus how you speak to a child, how you speak in a business setting to how you speak in a casual setting. So an artificial intelligence based on the understanding of the language can figure out how to use the language in different contexts as well. Not only that, it will also be able to provide cultural information based on the language. Now, let's dive into key concepts of artificial intelligence, specifically focusing on machine learning. Machine learning is a subset of artificial intelligence which learns from data. Let's take an example of a child. A child learns to recognize a cat and a dog based on the pictures that we show them. So it's continuous learning for them to where we help them identify what looks like a cat and what looks like a dog. After enough examples of what a cat looks like and what a dog looks like, a child is then able to recognize when they see a cat and when they see a dog. The idea is similar to computers as well. The computer has been shown enough pictures of a cat and a dog in order to understand when a picture is shown to distinguish based on its features. Machine learning is pretty much the same. You are helping the machine learn by providing enough data so that when new data comes in, it's able to recognize the new data based on the old data. There are three types of machine learning: supervised learning, unsupervised learning, and recognition learning. Supervised learning is straightforward, where the machine learns from labeled data. For example, you want to predict prices for new houses. Now, in order to predict the prices, what you do is you take in historical data where the features of the houses are labeled and the selling price is labeled. Once you enter this labeled data into the prediction model, the model will then go ahead and learn the relationship between features and the prices, and will be able to provide you with predictions for new houses accordingly. Another classic example is email filtering. You train the model on what is spam and not spam emails, and over time it learns from the examples and is able to then filter out the emails accordingly. With unsupervised learning, the model tries to find patterns with data that's not labeled at all. Let's take this example. Imagine a company wants to segment its customers based on their purchasing habits. By using unsupervised learning like clustering, the model groups the customers in segments based on their purchase habits. Now, let's talk about reinforcement learning. Reinforcement learning is like training a pet. It learns through trial and error and learns through doing the same thing over and over again. When you're training a pet, you consistently provide it with a reward, and as it gets that reward, it understands and figures out that, oh, if I do this action again, then I'm going to get rewarded again. So reinforcement learning is something like that. One of the well-known examples of reinforcement learning is AlphaGo. There is also a documentary on it. You have to look at this documentary in order to understand how far machine learning and artificial intelligence has come. AlphaGo is an application which learns to play board game Go, and by playing against itself millions of times, it learned to figure out different strategies so that it could win in the board game. Now let's talk about another concept in machine learning, which is an advanced area of machine learning, and it's called deep learning. Deep learning is based on the structures of how our brain works, so it uses neural networks. This is a fairly advanced and a bit more complicated subject matter. To put it simply, it's what deep learning is trying to do is it's trying to process a lot of data at the same time. And it uses the structures of neural networks in order to understand the data and understand, based on the data, provide results and outcomes accordingly. Again, as I mentioned, it's a very complicated subject matter, but there are a lot of videos on YouTube that you can definitely look into in order to understand it more. Those are the concepts in artificial intelligence. Now let's talk briefly about data in AI. Data is the most crucial aspects of artificial intelligence. Without data, AI systems cannot learn and cannot make any decisions. There are two types of data. There is structured data and unstructured data. As the name suggests, structured data is organized data like spreadsheets and databases, whereas unstructured data, text, images, and videos. AI can learn with both labeled data and unlabeled data. So with labeled data, it's able to recognize and understand the relationship between different data types and is able to provide us with results, whereas with unlabeled data, it uses techniques like clustering in order to recognize the pattern. Let's talk about applications of AI. As we all know, AI is transforming our world and the industries. AI is applicable in pretty much any industry sector that you can think of, and it is something that I personally feel that we all need to put our time and attention to understand it and learn more about it so that we can utilize this technology for the better. Which brings me to the ethical use of AI or ethics in AI. As we all know, because AI is slowly creeping into every aspect of our life, we have to start taking into consideration how this particular technology is going to have, long-term impacts. And of course, we want to utilize the technology as a resource and as a tool in order to move human civilization ahead. But we also want to take measures to ensure that artificial intelligence is not taking over the world, which is one of the biggest concerns that most of the people talk about. And that stems from the fact about, ethical data use and how artificial intelligence is going to use this data. Are there going to be biases? Because we do have a lot of biases within our society and within our systems that have been hampering or have stopped a lot of demographics from moving ahead. We don't want it to continue into artificial intelligence because there's no point of moving forward with new resources and technologies if we are continuing to do the same things that we have been doing before. Therefore, taking the time to understand this technology is important so that the more understanding we have of this technology, the better we'll be able to find solutions when we are implementing this technology. Let's talk about my bootcamp experience. It was an extensive and packed bootcamp. There is so many concepts, there is so many information within this subject matter, artificial intelligence and machine learning, that 6 months is very fast paced for sure. But from a perspective of where I'm coming from in terms of why I added this skill to my resume, my goal is to understand and learn as much about artificial intelligence so that when I go into a project where there is, where the project is implementing an AI system or artificial intelligence process, then I'm able to work with the business as well as the technology in order to implement this. So I'm coming from a very project management, change management perspective, and it is something that which leads me to the second point. Is where my confidence with my programming and coding was zero. I had no prior experience whatsoever, and it took me a lot of time, and it was quite difficult to understand the whole coding aspect of it. But given that there are a lot of also coding AIs that are popping up, eventually it will get to a point where it's going to be easier for us to code. However, understanding the subject matter is important, and that's what I am coming out of this class. That's what I've gotten for myself, is understanding the concepts, understanding what it means is important, even if you are not trying to be a programmer or a developer. And there are also career paths where you become an expert so that you can work on the ethical side of AI implementation. So there are various subject matters and various career paths within artificial intelligence, and I know there is a misconception, which I had also, is you have to be a programmer or you have to be a developer in order to be good at artificial intelligence, but I don't think so. I hope this video was helpful. Until next time, take care, don't forget, be kind to yourself, love yourself, be the Maharani of your life, and rule your life with love and kindness. Bye.